Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Career and Technical Education Podcast. I'm Brandon Grace.
And I'm Randall Hust.
And today we are here with Miss Crystal Latham-Alford from SkillsUSA Texas. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
Crystal, thanks for giving up your time today to come and hang out with us. We are lucky enough, you are over the entire state of Texas, but we're lucky enough here in small town Lubbock, Texas, that you happen to live in this city. And so we're lucky enough for you to come by and get to do this in person, which is awesome. So thank you so much for giving up of your time today.
No worries. I mean, Red Raider Nation, I'm going to have to give a shout out. I do live in Lubbock. Love me some Red Raiders. So definitely anytime I can be of service or have a conversation, I'm definitely open for it.
Perfect. Now, Crystal, we have a huge, vast audience that covers continent, at least one. And all of our moms watch and listen. And so introduce yourself to the world out there.
Well, my name is Crystal Latham-Alford. I am the Executive Director of SkillsUSA. I am a mom of three and love CTE. Have a great story. I went to Texas Tech and got a 4-year degree, but I also dabbled in some cosmetology and also have a certification so I can bang out some hair and make it beautiful and also a little marketing in that part as well. So really just great opportunity to tell my story and also advocate for those that are doing it either way, whether it's a 4-year degree, a certification, or, just changing a career path midway.
That's awesome. Tell us how you got connected with SkillsUSA.
So I actually lived in Sweetwater, Texas, really small town, moved there with my family and applied just like everybody else does on a internet site. And it was with Texas State Technical College. Got an interview there, interviewed to be a secretary, but walked out a director of student life. And again, your resume does matter. I'll just tell you that. And definitely talk about your skills. I think in any interview process, you never know what opportunity they can give you until you put yourself out there. So I did that, and they wanted to be part of clubs and organizations, and SkillsUSA was one that was brought to my attention. Went to a competition with some college students at Waco, Texas, and lo and behold, absolutely adored what I saw, was inspired by the students. And so I walked up to the state director at the time and said, how can I help? And as you both know, when you say, how can I help, you end up helping.
Yes.
So it was just a great opportunity. And here we are. I've been in SkillsUSA as a executive director going on my 10th year. So I love it. You got to be passionate about it, just as I'm sure as a teacher, you got to be passionate. And so here I am with y'all talking about career and technical education here on a Monday. So
Right. Yeah. And so what's amazing is that a lot of folks, they know about secondary SkillsUSA, but you started as the post-secondary director. So tell us a little bit about the post-secondary side of SkillsUSA and how does that differ from the secondary side?
So post-secondary, it differs in the walks of life. I've seen students, very traditional students, like your 18-year-old that just goes into college, not sure what they want to do and trying to find that, career path. But also for post-secondary, there's individuals that have been working in career fields for a very long time without any degree, but they want that bump up, whether that is in pay, insurance, a lifestyle for their family. There's a lot on the line typically in post-secondary, and they don't get as much training time. More of theirs is on-the-job training or life skills. So it really, the SkillsUSA students in high school, they do have a leg up because a lot of them potentially get 4 years of training in SkillsUSA. And a post-secondary student may get 15 months, may get a semester. So it just really does look a little different, and their passion and goals may look a little different. But again, I've seen that in high school students as well, doing skills to benefit their family at home or to just change their trajectory other than how they've been raised. I mean, there's lots of different stories out there, but I think that's the biggest difference between high school and post-secondary is just potentially their life experience.
That's really cool. Obviously, we've talked about skills on our podcast a lot. A former advisor, not in the classroom anymore, and so I don't get to have a chapter anymore. But I still get to go to contests and hang out. Brandon obviously is very, very active in Skills, so we definitely believe in the program and have seen the impact that it makes on kids. Even my own son, when he was in high school, 20 years ago, would participate in Skills USA and went to Corpus Christi and did all the things. So definitely makes a huge impact. How big is Skills USA Texas now? Like, how many members do we have?
So currently in high school, we are at the 22,000 mark.
Wow.
If you put in our alumni and the post-secondary divisions, so Skills USA Texas as a whole for the whole entire state, we are looking at 26,000.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. And Skills USA. I know that we don't like calling it just Skills, right? Yeah, it's Skills USA it's the second largest CTSO in the nation. Am I still right with that?
Actually, no.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, we've been beat out. So we actually are the fourth. But California is up there with 50,000.
Wow,
So,
wow.
And then there's Ohio and there's a couple in front of us, but it's not. But let me give you some statistics that really kind of put this. Out of the 50,000 that California has, at their state conference, they only have 3,500.
Wow.
Oh, wow. We have.
Yeah.
We have way more than that.
Yeah. And you think, and the same kind of goes for Ohio. They have about 5,000 that come to their state conference, and they have about 40,000 members.
Wow.
So perspective for Skills USA Texas, we have 22,000 members. Out of the 22,000 members, about 15,000 of them compete at district.
Wow.
And then you kind of split that off, and then you got about 75 to 7,800 that go to Corpus Christi for state. So if you look at those statistics, potentially, if you're a member, you're in it. You're competing.
Right.
You're doing the work. And that's not necessarily, I'm definitely not talking bad about California or Ohio.
No. Of course.
But, they have a lot of members, but we have a lot of participation.
That's awesome. And Brandon, I think you were thinking more on the lines of Skills compared to other CTSOs.
That too. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
we're second in the nation. Is that right? That's pretty awesome.
Because I think FFA's first.
I was about to say it's got to be FFA.
And then it's Skills USA, and then it's the other ones after that. I think it's kind of
the other ones.
Yeah.
The other ones.
Yeah. No, they're all great. All CTSOs are amazing. They all do amazing things for all the kids. It's just
Absolutely.
Skills USA hits a lot of the programs across everything from welding to manufacturing to automotive, cosmetology, law enforcement, IT. Do the ringer with it all.
It's definitely one. It seems to be one of the ones where, especially if a school or district out there, if they're looking to get into a one-stop shop, I mean, it's going to be the one that's going to have the most opportunities for their kids, for sure. Yeah.
And definitely, yeah, and especially in our area, I've seen a lot of health science grow in it, and so I've been doing the district coordinator. This is my 11th year doing.
Wow.
11th year, yeah, something like that. It's like 10 or 11 years, something like that, over a decade. And I've been the district coordinator for our area, and it's just grown exponentially since I've been here. So, and in the things that Crystal you've done over the last 2 years that you've been part of secondary, this organization has there's been changes, but it's grown and it's been modernized a lot. So there's a lot of new stuff coming for our state contest this year. Tell us a few things that are coming new to state.
So we had a really great survey that went out to all of our members at the end of last year, and we really wanted to take that information and kind of cultivate what we were hearing. And again, because not everybody likes to do surveys, and I can totally appreciate that, but we really need to hear from our members. So this year, we heard a lot about logistical locations for state conference. We have some offsite locations, but sometimes, as everyone knows, sometimes you're only able to bring one or two advisors, and it becomes really difficult to move around. So we have contracted with the Education Center in Corpus Christi, which is less than half a mile from the convention center. They have about 25 classrooms within that location. And so we are going to put some additional contests in that location in order to kind of keep the shuttle really close to logistically around there and move some more contests on site. So really looking at that one stop off of Shoreline, really helping condense that. Also, we have looked at job exhibits. I think last year we changed the pricing structure for job exhibits. And for district, we are still going to do district notebooks, but moving into state, we are going to have the student defend their project. Our industry partners have really wanted to get in front of the students. So we are going to give the opportunity for a student to stand in front of their project and talk to someone about what they did and how they did it. I really believe that's going to elevate a student's conversation, resume, and also give that opportunity for the partner to communicate with the student about potential opportunities in the future. Again, we need to be in front of these students, explain to them why we need them, and what better person to do that than an industry partner really looking for that student. Resumes on site, uploads, it's a process to get everything online. Everyone knows that. But face-to-face resumes, I'm going to do that at district and state. For those that love job exhibits, because we all do, the score sheet used to be 2 different sheets, which sometimes became complicated when you had to print them off. Now your scorecard for job exhibits is 1 sheet for state and district, and both of those are on 1 sheet. So you print it out and put it in the book, and you're done.
Nice.
So again, listening to it may be small nuances, but again, we want to hear you and we want to make it better for our members.
I love that. Yeah, it's taking that feedback and actually improving. That's awesome. You alluded to our industry partners. Talk about some of the industry connections that we have with SkillsUSA. Obviously, there are a ton of folks that are very big supporters. So who are the biggest ones that you work with?
I'm going to say for a college standpoint, TSTC is probably our biggest right now. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that they really are big on giving scholarships. I mean, they literally want the students. We're going to have them more robust opportunities even at district. So that's a really great opportunity for those that maybe don't advance to state but still want to go to college at that location. Penske, Trucking, United Rentals, a lot of diesel companies. I will say diesel is really big. Talking about esports, we've gotten some information and some emails about that lately. So we see some big partners coming in that area as well. But again, there are several areas, Haas, I could name quite a few. But they see the pathway and work-based learning and apprenticeship opportunities, certificate programs. They're seeing the opportunity to get in front of a student and say, these are your opportunities and potential pathways. We're not asking you to pick us, but we want you to hear it all. Right. And there's some unions, the plumbers union. I don't believe they teach union benefits at school, and that's okay. But there are some opportunities as well that students don't know about what that looks like. And we want to give them, again, every opportunity and every option to be successful.
I did construction program, and that was always a great thing for our kids, as they're out there. They gain just as much from those guys that are there serving as instructors or hosting the contest as those guys get by seeing our students. Because let's be honest, the kids that go to SkillsUSA, especially the ones that go to state, these are the cream of the crop. And these are the ones that our industry partners are coming in. They're watching these kids compete, and they're just going, holy cow. Like, this is a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, and I'd hire this kid yesterday. This is amazing. And so such a great opportunity for those partnerships. And it's easy to see why folks want to be a part of SkillsUSA, for sure.
It was like a few years ago, about 5 years ago, I had a student. He went through the internet working contest, and it was ran by the guys that they work for McAfee Antivirus out of Dallas, and he didn't even win the contest. Like, he got 7th, I think, is what he ended up getting. But he stayed in contact with those guys, and he was like, "Hey, I would like to learn more. I would like to go out there and and see this." And so he stuck in contact with them. That summer, he did an internship with them. He was a senior. And then he went straight from doing an internship to working for him. Wow. And all he had was certificates.
Wow.
Certifications and things like that. He didn't have anything, and now he makes more than I do. But we're not going to say that. But
that's for a different podcast, right?
Different podcast. Yeah,
the woes of a teacher,
right? But no, he wouldn't have had that opportunity without SkillsUSA, and he has a family now. Drives a Tesla. The whole bit. It's been cool watching him grow as a person, and he stays in contact, and he'll reach out to my kids occasionally, and talk about it. That's one of my stories that I always tell, because it's SkillsUSA success stories.
That's right.
And it's the things that, everybody talks about what's wrong with the kids today, but SkillsUSA is what's right with them.
That's right. That's a beautiful way to put that.
Right.
I love that.
I'm going to need to trademark that. So let's have a conversation after this,
right?
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Actually, I think it was said on one of the old SkillsUSA videos. So it's already been, it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there.
It's already, you already own it.
We haven't used it in a while, so we'll bring it back.
Okay. Sounds good.
We've talked a lot about competition, contest. Obviously, that's a big part of skills. And you talked about how Texas that's a vast majority of our kids compete, which is brilliant. What else, though, can SkillsUSA do for, I'm a teacher out there in Ohio. What can SkillsUSA do for me?
So there's great opportunities, and sometimes I don't know that they're showcased like they should be. For the students, there's several leadership opportunities as well, and a little statistical thing. And I know data is, so boring, but really great information.
You get so excited when you talk.
I do. Data is just so exciting for me. I probably need a life, right? Like that's exciting for me. But it's we actually bring more medals home at nationals in leadership for SkillsUSA Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's information that not everybody knows.
That's cool.
But that just shows how well they talk, articulate SkillsUSA, and just what is going on in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And that's a testament to the teachers. And I definitely want to make sure that they know what they're teaching matters, and that there is data to support that. But for an advisor, I think that there are a couple of different opportunities, and we have partnerships with different organizations as well. There is CTAT and TIVA that will also offer some opportunities, some training opportunities for teachers for professional development, and also kind of get in the know of some things that SkillsUSA and other organizations are doing. So I really encourage them to look through that. And then also for us, when you become a member of SkillsUSA, there are 4 different assessments and certificates that you have the opportunity to get, CTE knowledge, and I will say that they've probably changed a little bit this year, so I apologize that I'm not quite proficient on all of them, but there's at least 4 that will additionally help with your professional development hours, which we know are very important.
Of course.
And then I encourage you to have conversations with your district coordinators. They are a plethora of knowledge, whether they think so or not. Wink, wink, Brandon. A lot of them have been doing this a long time, and they've got tricks of the trade. And I just don't think people know to ask them. But they are really a great resource for information on how to, get registered. And I'm going to give props to Brandon too, because he created a great video on how to register.
I need to update that, by the way. It's changed a little bit, so I'll update it.
But, like I said, there are several professional development groups, and then opportunities within the national website and our website to really get in some knowledge about SkillsUSA. But always, if you don't have time to do that, just send a short email to one of our staff members or your coordinator, and they are more than happy to assist you in any way possible. We really are trying to support customer service. That's why you'll see more employees within the organization to create that opportunity where you're not having to wait or not getting a phone call immediately. We've got some nonstop individuals that answer those phone calls to make sure that you are given the information as quickly as we can get it to you.
That's awesome. When me as an instructor, and probably the biggest benefit I got was the fact that those kids, when they're participating in something like skills, and they're like doing the chapter and they're doing the thing, and they've taken ownership of it, my life got way easier as a teacher. I didn't have to worry about, because those were my skills kids and they were doing great. And my whole goal was to get more of them in skills, because the more I had to get going, the easier my life was. That's for sure.
Because they had an end goal, and it's same thing. And that's like, as soon as I got involved, like my kids got super involved doing SkillsUSA contest and doing actual chapter events and stuff. My classes got easier, just straight up easier, because we had a relationship, and they knew that if they acted crazy, they weren't going to get to go to Corpus, or they weren't going to get to go to district or whatever. And so they wanted to go to do those opportunities, and then they also wanted to compete, so they would work hard and try and win, because they're very competitive. And so it's changed the dynamic of my class 100%. Just having, a goal for one, but also having, that relationship building that you can do with them, because you're traveling with these kids now. It's not it's not just, in class, see you later, whatever. It's like, I get you for a week, and now now we know each other, and you get to see a different side of me, and I can see a different side of you. And, it's like my kids this year, whenever we're talking about it, they're already planning their state trip. I go, guys, you got to make it first.
They're like, oh, we're going to make it.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck. All right. It's a tough competition this year, but it's fun whenever they get super excited about doing that. And it's like seniors or juniors that did it, last year, and they're like, and I have one kid that's a senior. There was a senior last year, and he was like, "God, I wish I would have done this earlier. I've been trying to tell you. I tried to get you in it, but no. I mean, but it honestly brings excitement, and it's a lot of kids that don't do football, don't do basketball, and we have kids that do those too. But they're not doing any other extracurricular activities, even though SkillsUSA is a co-curricular activity, right? Yeah. Yeah. And but they're not doing anything outside of school. They're not going to band trips. They're not going on these things, and it gives them that opportunity also to go out there. And like my kids, I have a bunch of IT nerds. I do have some that are football players, but most of them are not. And this is their Super Bowl. This is this is what they want to do with life. And they're all in it. They're super excited. Like it's like the first day of school, like I had like a sophomore goes, when can I sign for SkillsUSA? And I'm like, give it a minute. You just hold your horses there. And so I finally got all that done. But yeah, but it's cool because it gives those kids a different opportunity to be able to get out there, network, and meet new people, and not sit behind a computer screen and
as a teacher, I mean, when your kids are taking ownership, I walked into the men's room and the locker room here combined, right? Mm-hmm. So it was right before district contest last year, and I'm in there and I hear some guys talking, and they're showing each other their welds, right? Because they keep their welds in the locker, and they're like, and they're like critiquing each other. They're getting ready for contests. I'm like, okay, what teacher does not want their students in the locker room comparing classwork? Like, holy cow, that doesn't happen except for SkillsUSA, which is amazing. It's that drive. So.
It is, and it's really cool. And it just teachers out there, if you're afraid to get involved, that's my biggest thing. Is I always hear, even first year teachers saying, I don't want to get involved. I go, I promise you, it seems like a lot of hard work, but in the end, it is work at first, but it's worth it because you start building that early and you get into it. Like my very first year teaching, Mike Garrett, was an automotive instructor. He was like, dude, get into it now. And I'm like, yes, sir. And so I got into it and I did it, and we went to state, and I had no idea what I was doing, but you did it. And afterwards, okay, that was cool. Next year we're going to do better, and it's the earlier you get started, the better your kids will do, the more likely you're going to be teaching, I honestly say that SkillsUSA kept me teaching because it gave me something else besides just walking into class every day, teaching and going home. It gave me something else to push those kids to do. And it grew me as a teacher too.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I would definitely say, trust what you're teaching in the classroom. Yes. I think when you think of technical standards and you think of some of the things that we do in SkillsUSA, it's like, well, I'm going to have to teach something separately, or it's something different or something more. And it's not. Go into that classroom being confident about what you teach and how you teach the students, and just look over the technical standards. But I guarantee what you're doing is what we're going to test on. So I really encourage advisors to trust the process, trust what you're doing, trust your ability, because if you trust your ability, then your students are going to come right along with you. So again, we aren't trying to trip you up, I promise. We are literally just trying to kind of elevate what you're already doing. So just know that about SkillsUSA, just like Brandon just said, it's kind of that scary thought at first, but we're just elevating your students and what you're already knocking out of the park in your classroom.
That's cool. The other big part that we kind of touched on was, the leadership opportunities for students. That's another thing that I've seen grow within my kids and having those leadership kids in my class. Talk about the different leadership opportunities kids have.
So there are several different opportunities. Obviously, first and foremost, I'd love to just kind of hit on the district and state officer opportunities. Really just being a leader and an advocate in your schools, in your district is really an opportunity. And I'm going to boast on Brandon's just because they took in my son. So just FYI, my son's never been part of SkillsUSA. So just if anybody has this feeling that we talk about it around the table, we don't. So he really doesn't know a lot about SkillsUSA. And, his officers in his district really took him under his wing, and he is just a SkillsUSA student. Like, he he wants a patch on his jacket and all the things, and just to know he doesn't have skills at his school. But again, it's the leadership opportunities that these kids really showcase for other students that don't know anything about skills. So that's a big part for me, just because it's personal to my heart a little bit.
Sure.
But leadership, there's entrepreneurship, job interview. There's also summer leadership, again, another thing for our officers. But all in all, like I said before, just several leadership opportunities within our competitions, but we also have Elevate. There's several different online platforms within nationals where a student doesn't have to be in front or even compete. There's definitely a lot of opportunities to just learn. And we have those opportunities within SkillsUSA national website, different opportunities, legislative day to learn a little bit about that. And we have a student officer liaison, so somebody that's specific to our student programming that will continue to grow that leadership opportunity for our students even moving forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I always say another thing, we were talking about leadership contests too, where there's a bunch of those, but I always tell my students and even new advisors, and it's like, yes, the contests are a part of it. These, going out there and doing automotive and going out there and doing this, but there's this whole other thing that every kid can do that actually elevates them more and helps them with this other piece over here too. So I always make my students do a leadership contest and a skilled contest, what are they, skilled and technical science, technical whatever contest. And so there's these two different these two different sides of it, and to make them do them both because they need both. You can't just have one. I can't go in. You can't get the job without having good job interview skills. You can't get the job without doing applications. It's you customer service, all that. And I always tell them, make sure you have them enter those two contests. And they're like, well, I don't know much about the leadership. And I go, they'll go in there. If they don't do great at it, they'll come back and tell you what they had to do. Next year, they'll do better, or you'll have kids do better the next year. You just have kids do it. Have them try. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
So I bet that second part is that leadership is where they actually grow, is what I see over the years.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Crystal, this has been great. I thank you again so much for your time. Let's just say there's somebody out there listening and they're like, you know what? I want this for my classroom. I want this for my kids. How do they find out more information about SkillsUSA?
I encourage you to go on our website and kind of just look about us. There's several opportunities to communicate with any of our state staff, and definitely shoot us an email. There's contact information, or even phone call. We've got quite a few people that can answer any of your questions. And so I don't know if you want me to give the phone number online or it's up to you.
We can put in the show notes.
Yeah, there
right?
you go, show notes. But again, call us, have a conversation with us, send us an email. And again, just kind of do your own research. I encourage you just to kind of click around. It's not the easiest website. We have a lot of information, but again, just click around in there. We also have really great one-sheeter of all the contests and the things that we offer. So again, if you shoot us an email, we'll definitely give you access to that so that, again, we'll try to make it as easy as possible for you to get the information you need and answer the questions as quickly as possible.
And this is not just for Texas, right? SkillsUSA is... it's international too, right?
It is. We have World Skills, and we also have, there is somebody like me in every single state and territory. Nice. So again, World Skills just happened, I would say a couple of months ago, and we actually came home with some medals, like a medal and some opportunities. So again, the United States is on the map even with World Skills. So again, great opportunities, lots of reasons to join.
That is awesome. Crystal, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, boss.
Thank you.
Oh, just knocked your microphone there. But no, thanks. Yeah, thanks for being here with us. And thank you all for watching this week. And we will catch y'all next week.
Thank you.
You can watch and listen to all episodes of the CTE Podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Podcast, and LubbockISDTV.com.